And we're alive. Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to season number two here for the Fashion Matrix podcast. I'm very glad that I'm back at it again. And god damn, shit, a lot has happened in this short and brief um, pause that I took for of my podcast. I mean, I remained and I continue. I always do the work that I do online and offline, of course. And I continue to upload videos. So if you don't follow me on social media, remember to follow me at Pablo Mentor or go to pablomentor.com so that you can see everything that I'm doing basically. But I'm back again with my podcast where I, you know, usually share my thoughts, my meditations, my teachings, and my experiences and things that actually help you awaken a little bit, to think for yourself, to live your own fucking life, and you be the one who decides what's real, what's not real, what's true, what's not true, and basically become a person of your own experience, a Toltec. That's how we call it here in Mexico. Right now, I find myself in Mexico. I haven't been able to travel because of all the travel restrictions. So let's get down to business. Let's start the podcast because I want to share some of the things that I've been doing, some of the things that are happening in my life, and talking about this pandemic. If you do not follow me on social media, or if you don't know who I am, then probably you're not aware that I'm very open and very vocal about opposing to this pandemic. I think that this whole thing has been manipulated from the very start, from the very beginning. There's a lot of evidence that shares some light on how this whole thing started, and it's a little bit shady, right? It's not like the mainstream narrative that has been shared by massive mediums of communication, massive mainstream channels, all these news channels and all these things, basically saying that a bat a bat gave us this fucking disease, right? And from that, if you really make your own research and just get a little bit curious on what the hell is happening, why are we experiencing this, and what does it mean to get a disease, and what does it mean to have a strong immune system? What does it mean to be healthy? Is it just the physical side? And what is this bacteria and germ theory? Because it's basically a theory. You have to understand that. You have to do your own research. Talk to people. Listen to other podcasts that talk about this. And of course, go to Ecosia, not Google, because Google is very pretty much bought. And anything that you want to basically research over there is going to be tailored to fit in the narrative that basically how do you call it, benefits who's financing Google and social media and big pharma and all these big companies and big tech and all these things, right? It's partial, it's not impartial. And pretty soon you'll understand that the more you do your research on other mediums like Ecosia, for example, and there's others, the more you realize, man, why is certain information is being kept from me, or why is certain information being kept from a search engine, right? Which is, let me be the judge, let me decide on what's real, what's not real, what's true, what's not true. I should be the one who decides that, not you. Because if you're withholding information from me, that makes it a little bit shady, isn't it? So I'm not gonna tell you, this is not the purpose of this, at least this episode. Maybe in another episode for this season, maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows. But this whole thing, man, it was just manufactured. It was pretty much manipulated. And you know it makes you think, makes you readjust yourself on what the hell is happening. It makes you more curious on certain topics that maybe you were not curious about. prior to this pandemic. And that is the purpose of this episode, to make you more curious on how your whole system works, how the system works. Would you would you even dare to doubt the institutions, pharma institutions, the business of pharma, or the agriculture uh, system, the business of it, the business side of agriculture, your governments, your government institutions? Do you even question, or do, in your own mind, not them, but do you even allow yourself to question, like, maybe these motherfuckers are lying to me? Maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe yeah, maybe no. But do you even allow yourself to bring those questions? That's the important part. So I know that a lot of people are waking up more and more and more, saying, well, you know what, man, we've been lied a long time. I mean, we can all agree that politics are a little bit devious and they say what they need to say just to get into the power, to get into office. But we know, for as a fact, as a species, as history is on our side, that they lie. Because I mean, whether you believe that they're evil or not, I mean, they're human beings and they fuck up. So first thing is, we cannot trust on them like they are the ones who's going to take care of us. That's the first thing, to be reminded that no one's going to take care of you but you. You got to step up to the challenge and become responsible for yourself, basically, pretty much. Like, okay, I got to be healthy. I got to remain healthy. How the fuck do I do that? Well, that's the whole journey. That's how it starts. That's the beauty of it. What does it mean to be healthy? And later on, I'm going to bring some information, some pretty awesome information that is going to blow you away. It's going to blow your mind, because I don't know how this science, and in today's world, science is a pretty misused word. I think science is being partial, not impartial. Science is supposed to look for truth, regardless of political uh, issues, or religious issues, or belief systems, or values. We are searching for truth. And now, eh, for a long time now, of course, but now, if anybody wants to speak up based on science, it's almost like, whose science, right? It's no longer the science. It's like, whose science? Whose science? What side of science are you backing up? And that's fucking stupid, man. We are becoming more and more stupid now as a species, as a society, with all these social media stuff, and basically not reading books anymore, because you have everything on YouTube, which is, I mean, in a way, it's a good thing, but also I think it's making us a little bit, like, lazy. We don't want to do our own research anymore. We just want the information to be tailored right in front of us, and whatever the internet says, oh man, that must be right. So, man, I don't want to do my own research, man. It takes a lot of time to research and to cross check all the references, and then pause videos or read an article and then reread another article, and then if they mention the name, then you go research that name, and then you have to verify how true those articles are, and blah 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 blah, and then also go to a fucking library and a lot of stuff. So a lot of people are lazy, and they just like, man, oh man, fuck no. I just want to watch a YouTube video, be entertained, or I want to watch the recap, the resumed version of, in quotes, the truth. So that's why science right now, it's a little bit devious. I mean, we cannot fully trust the science anymore. Shit. And these have been happening for a long time now, because whoever's backing up the articles or the studies of the so-called science, let's say that, uh, I don't know, the tobacco industry, right? Which we all now can agree that smoking cigarettes are, it's bad for your health, not just yours, but for others as well, right? But back in the day, doctors used to recommend and actually prescribe, even to pregnant women and to young men or women, Smoke a pack of cigarettes. That's going to be good for your health. And there was no motherfucking science to back it up. Doctors kind of had an idea that this was not that beneficial, but um, the industry that was backing up those research, basically the money, right? Money talks. And this is so fucking true right now. And in this example, yeah, money talks, basically. So if the research was being funded by the industry itself, then you already know that the science is not going to be on partial. It's not going to be absolutely truthful. It's going to be one-sided, so that it can back up the narrative that benefits the industry. So, I mean, damn. And now we're experiencing something similar, my friends. We're seeing something similar with pharmaceutical industries, the vaccine companies that are creating all these things. And, you know, I don't even know if you are aware of all this shit, but again, there's so much to talk about, so much to talk about. But the point is, are you even questioning this? Are you taking the time to question what is happening? Or are you just following what the news reporters are telling you, or what Facebook is telling you, or what your friends friends and family are telling you? Because if that's the case, then no wonder why we're pretty easy to manipulate. Because a lot of people are not curious enough to make their own research, to say, wait, hold on a second, hold on, let me fact check this shit. Which again, all these fact checkers, man, oh my god, don't even get me started on that. It's nonsense. Who are they, and why are they doing that, when in reality we should be doing it for ourselves? We should be the ones fact checking all this shit, not someone making it for us. Because then you have to raise the question: are you being partial? Are you trying to um, fit in the narrative of someone who's backing you? Where does the money? I mean, follow the money, and probably you'll find more truth than all the motherfucking fact checkers in the world. Okay, and reporters and all these. It's follow the money. So personally, I know that I've always been curious. I've always doubted, like, is this for real? Who says that and why? What's the why behind it? Who's going to benefit out of all these things that are happening ever since I was a kid? Which brought me a lot of problems, and which is kind of stupid, right? Why would you want to silence a kid that's just raising the hard questions? Well, because let me tell you why. Because it's hard to control a person that actually thinks for himself or herself. So that's why it's easier to say, you know what, shut the fuck up, do as I tell you, and that's it. Not don't do as I do, do as I tell you to do, which is like basically what we're seeing. A lot of politicians telling you to follow their mandates and to follow their rules and this and that. But then when you look at their lives, when you look at them behind the scenes, you see them not following their own motherfucking rules. So that should bring an alarm into your head and say, like, oh, hold on a second, let me fact check all this shit. So in my own life, I've been censored like a motherfucker lately. I know that when I started sharing my message, it got me. I mean, the way I started as an image consultant, right? Which is more into the fashion side, because I knew that that was going to get me a lot of views, that was going to get me a lot of attention. And my image was different. If you look at me right now, I'm more of a hippie, which I fucking hate stereotypes. But if you want to give me a stereotype, yeah, I'm more of a hippie type. And back in the day, I was more of a, like, I wouldn't even know how to call it, but you just have to watch my videos, my first videos, and basically trying to make my way in the world. And at first, I was just talking about mainstream shit. I remember it. And pretty soon I realized, well, you know what, man? I think even though I was working in fashion industry, just the way that I am, I always had to bring something else to the table. It wasn't good enough to me just to be like, yeah, fashion is good, and people should understand fashion more and their clothes and their image, and that's it. And I was like, man, let me go further. Let me go deeper into this. I want to see the profound side of fashion and image. And that's when I started to get a little bit more deep into these things, and you just have to listen to the first season of my podcast, the first episodes. I really talk about image consulting and where does it come from and the history of fashion and the importance of taking care of yourself and conscious identity or being conscious about your identity, who you are, working upon your identity, blah, 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 blah. The point that I'm trying to make here is uh, I knew pretty early of when I started sharing my message that I was not going to be very popular. I mean, at first, because I started getting a lot of attention, I went into a lot of radio shows here in Mexico. I went to a couple of TV shows national here national TV, and then I went on the internet. I started doing my thing for across the globe because of YouTube and all this, and then I started doing my seminars, and then all of a sudden I said, well, man, this is cool, but I was withholding on saying what I really wanted to say. I was just tailoring my information to what I thought you guys wanted to hear. You know what I'm talking about? I was sharing information that I thought people wanted to hear. And it got me to a certain point. But then I said, you know what, man, fuck this. I want to say what I know that is real for me, that what has actually helped me and my customers and my friends. I don't want to be famous just talking about, oh, yes, wear a nice bright tie and you'll get a lot of business. You'll increase your income and people will love you. All this cookie cutter shit, basically. So I started a lot of cussing. I remember, and I was like kind of angry. Like you motherfuckers don't get it. You motherfuckers don't even know yourselves, and then you want to become successful and become rich and become influencers and like motherfucker. Just look at yourself. You look like a motherfucking homeless down the street. Shit. Shut the fuck up. You don't even know who you are, right? So I started doing a lot of that, and it didn't get me a lot of views. It did not get me a lot of views. It was like the opposite. Like people want. What I thought that people wanted to hear, guess what? It was actually what they wanted to hear, the mainstream shit. So I said, well, I have two options: to continue to do that or to continue to follow my heart. And I followed my heart. So I started sharing a lot of stuff. So yeah, it got me to the right people. Then I started talking about the real shit, like spirituality, about life, mindset, relationships, and all these things. And now, because of all this, and not necessarily because of the pandemic, but prior to that, I started talking about, man, you motherfuckers don't even understand what you're putting into your brain, into your system, what you're eating, what you're consuming, what you're doing. And of course, that most people don't even want to hear about it. They just want to be entertained. Now, move forward into today. Well, because I've been sharing and talking about a lot about the nature of this pandemic and people not being fully responsible for their own health, that a fucking jab is not going to give you health. It's not going to make you healthy. A fucking drug is not going to make you healthy. It doesn't matter who the fuck did it or gave it to you or who told you that you need to do it. If a doctor told you to do it, basically, health is your own fucking responsibility. And no one is going to give it to you. No one. Only you can accomplish your own health. You have to work on your health. It's not something that a magic pill. So because of that, I've been getting censored like a motherfucker. Like sharing some truth about spirituality, man, because you know now that even if you talk just a little bit, if you deviate a little bit from the mainstream narrative that you should get a vaccine, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to uh, follow the rules and wear a mask and distance yourself and isolate yourself, and that if you just talk, raise a question or say something different, these algorithms, I mean, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to share this podcast anymore because I've been saying a lot of the keywords that algorithms look for, and we know, you and I know, that we're being, I don't know how to say it, like spied, or we're being watched, basically. Uh, my woman works in the advertising industry, and they buy a lot of the information that how we behave. They want to know how we behave, what we do, so that they can understand our their buyers better, and so they can manipulate their information better, so that you can buy more, you can consume more, basically. Shit, right? So we know, because we've all experienced with our cell phones, where we're talking about something, oh, I've been thinking about getting a cat. Boom, all of a sudden a lot of advertisements get into how to adopt a cat, how to buy a cat, or cat's food, and boom, 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 and everyone laughs about it. You can make fun of it and laugh about it with your friends, like, oh man, fucking Siri is listening to me, fucking Alexa is listening to me, shit, ah, ha, ha. But this is some real shit. This is true. This is happening. So that's why these algorithms know that when you say the jibby jab, the, the word, that which cannot be named, I feel like motherfucking Harry Potter or something like that. Anyway, when you say certain keywords, the algorithms start to shadow ban you. Now, why? Why is that? I mean, do they think that you're dumb enough that you should not be hearing me or anybody else who says something different? I mean, that's kind of weird, right? Now, I know it sounds like I'm poor me and getting like in the victim mentality, but no, 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 no. This is some real shit. This has been happening to me. My friends that have a similar communication and similar narrative to saying, hey, there's something weird happening over here. You should be mindful. You should be paying more attention to what's happening. And we get shadow banned. What does that mean? That means that my content on social media is not being pushed. On the contrary, it's hard to find it. You cannot find me anymore. If you want to tag me in any post, YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, you won't be able to do it. You cannot even tag me or find me. You can go at Pablo Mentor, and it's gonna be hard for you to find me. I'm gonna be at the low. I'm gonna be at the last accounts that you're gonna find me, again with Insta stories, again with videos. Sometimes I cannot upload videos. Why? I don't know why, man. My friend is, I have a close friend, one of my best friend, that is experiencing something similar, and sometimes we cannot upload our videos. Share even amongst ourselves. We want to share a video, we want to share a link, something as simple as a link, a fucking link, and it's not letting me sending it through via email or through social media platforms or messengers and things like that. The only platform that I'm using right now where I can still, in quotes, free, but I know it's still getting monitored, is Telegram. You can find me at Telegram. I think it's, again, at Pablo Mentor. It's got to be that. But anyway, this is kind of like, Machiavellic. Like, what the fuck is happening? Why is the information being tailored and being so controlled? What is happening? Let me think for myself. Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there. We can't deny it. Internet has done that to us, where we need to be more careful about what we read, what we consume, because there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of lies out there on the good side and the bad side. So you have to rely on your heart now more than ever, on your own intuition. And how do you do that? Well, listen to my first season. You have to meditate, you have to eat healthy foods, you have to become aware of your lifestyle, basically, of what am I consuming, what am I putting into my system, into my body, into my skin, what am I listening to, who am I surrounding myself with, what am I doing with my motherfucking life. that's that's a start. So by being censored, it's kind of bullshit, because that also has a lot of implications on my income, because a lot of my income comes from people being able to listen to me, to then go to my website, to subscribe to my program, my coaching program, to buy my books, buy my programs, my products, and all these things, right? A lot of it comes from that, from reaching people, and then they getting more, or you guys getting more, a little bit more curious on learning the things that has been passed on to me, and then I share it with you guys, like the deeper stuff. Not only that has been happening, so that, again, the purpose of this podcast, this episode, the first episode on my new season is: are you being curious? Are you raising the questions? Are you doubting everything and saying, well, there's something funny about these things. Why am I being censored? And I'm not pushing any agendas. I'm just saying, man, hey, here's some facts, and here's some other facts, and then there's a little bit of incongruency with what's being pushed onto us by news and by this and that. So what's going on over here? So I just want to put it out there and question, how safe is this? What the hell is happening? Not just on the pandemic, not just on the safety, health side, but also sometimes on spirituality. I've been fact checked for talking about Ishtar, which is one of the tattoos that I have, Inanna, Aphrodite, so many different names. I've been fact checked on a post that I did on Ishtar, which has to do with spirituality. Then something else that I did about, basically I was talking about, how do you call it? Like, people are Christians because of genocide and a lot of negative stuff, and boom, I get fact check. You get like the badge underneath, like, oh, this post is partially misquoted, or blah 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 blah. It's like, what the hell is happening, man? So I've been on the Facebook jail, on the Instagram jail, like, I wear my badge of being censored with pride, because I know that if I'm being censored, is because I must be saying something, rather than saying, man, you guys are right, I'm a stupid motherfucker for raising the questions and for sharing things that go against what you want me to say. So yeah, you know what, you don't want Mr. Big Brother, Mr. Facebook, you're totally right. I need to shut the fuck up. I need to change my mindset and do as I'm told. No, instead of doing that, I'm like, damn, that means, because sometimes I share things just because I find them interesting, and I do my own research, and I know that they're true, and I want to raise the questions inside of you guys as well, not just for the fuck of it, right? Uh, but I'm not 100% sure. So like, okay, this is something, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm still making my research, but it makes you think, basically, and that's what I want to share on my videos, my podcast, my all these things, because it makes you think. I'm not fucking God. I'm not absolute right about everything that I say. I'm still learning, and I'm still evolving, and I'm still growing and working upon myself. But everything, I can guarantee you that almost everything that I share is because I want to make you think. I want to be more profound, and I want to make you think. I don't want to entertain you, motherfuckers. I want to make you think, and I want to make you become a person of your own experience, so that maybe just one fucking thing that I say makes you think, and then you start your own research. That's the whole point. So some things I share, and I don't know if it's totally true or not, and but there's some facts in it, and I want to make you think, right? And then boom, immediately gets shut down or censored or fact checked. So I'm like, damn, okay, cool. Then I must be headed the right way. So instead of doing what they want to do, it's doing the opposite, right? But again, all this censorship, it just, if it doesn't bother you a little bit, just a little bit, that then you're a big part of the problem, because the fact that we cannot even talk about it anymore, that should make you scared a little bit. It should make you mad just a little bit. Like, hey, wait, hold on a second. I cannot even have a discussion about this anymore. Like, have a debate on this anymore. Like, I just want to talk about it, and not just on social media, not just online on the internet. Also outside of it, we've seen the implications of all this pandemic, where a lot of division, a lot of uh, polarization is happening. Right? We're being more and more and more polarized. With you're either pro-black or anti-black people, or you either pro-vaccine or anti-vaccine, and you either pro-COVID regulations or anti that. And you can't have a healthy discussion anymore where it's not about you being right or it's not about me being right. It's about, let's put the facts on the table. Let's bring everything to the table. And then let's clean the discussion. There's some bullshit that I brought into the table, and there's some bullshit. There's got to be some bullshit that you're bringing into the table. Let's clean it up and let's see if we can find out what's true. Let's see if we can find out something better, a better truth based on what we both are researching. Problem is, most people are not doing their own research. Most people are just regurgitating the bullshit that's being fed to them, that's being pushed onto them, like propaganda, literally, like fucking propaganda, repeating the same message again and again and again and again until it becomes part of their subconscious mind. And then they don't even question themselves. They can't do it anymore. And if they do it, or if they find someone who is just, hey, have you raised the question that you know how safe this is? It happens like cognitive dissonance. So it's, they cannot even comprehend it. Like, whoa, wait, what? Why do you even question like this? Oh, you must be an anti-vaxxer. You are an irresponsible person, blah, blah, blah. And they begin to attack you. Now, do you think that by um, dividing ourselves, are we going to get through this or any other problem in our lives? The problems that we're facing as species, as a society, do you think that by dividing us, that's how we're going to accomplish them? That's how we're going to surpass them? Hell no. Hell to the no. God damn. Dividing ourselves is divide and conquer. It's only going to make us more weaker, and it's going to make us more of a target, or easier to implement certain things that are being pushed on without our consent. Like a passport, vaccine passport. I don't know where you stand in this, whether you like it or don't like it. I don't think that's a good idea overall, because why earlier, before, why wouldn't we do this when there was AIDS, or pedophiles or rapists, to actually tag them and be like, hey, this is a different motherfucker. You should not allow this motherfucker on any store. You should not allow this motherfucker to travel or anything like that. So certain things, because we are more focused on fighting amongst each other, amongst ourselves. Oh no, I'm trying to convince you, you're trying to convince me. And while that is happening, all these different implementations are happening in society. Like, oh, guess what? You won't be able to have a job anymore unless you prove you're vaccinated. Damn, that's some totalitarian authoritism shit. Like, that's like fascist totalitarian shit. That's not good for the evolution of society or the soul, for the expansion of the self. Damn. You tell me what I'm supposed to do, and if I don't want to do it and I'm a bad person all of a sudden, what the fuck? So that has been happening also, right? The fact that me living the lifestyle that I want, which is eating clean, being vegan, this shit, all these things. What most people call it woke, right? Which I fucking hate, because I ain't woke. This is some bullshit, man. Motherfucking stereotypes and tags and labels. But living a lifestyle of consciousness, being conscious, living a conscious life, a sustainable life, becoming aware of everything that I say, that I do, that I wear, what I eat, everything needs to be conscious. It needs to be revised by my spirit, by my consciousness, and then do it not because it's suspected of me or because it's what's perceived as being good, but because I know that this goes in touch, in congruence with my essence, with my spirit, with my soul, with my purpose, with my motherfucking mission. So because of that, a lot of pushback. I've been getting a lot of pushback. And in other um, news, I'm also expecting a daughter, a beautiful baby girl. She's coming on November, and man, I couldn't be more excited about it. I wasn't even going to share it here, but if you're listening to this, yeah, you're one of the first one to learn that. Yeah, I'm gonna be a daddy. God damn, and I'm fucking excited about it. But at the same time, it reminds me of who am I bringing on what planet, what Earth, what type of society am I going to raise my daughter, right? So now more than ever, because I've been doing this for a long time, but now more than ever, the question is, what am I going to do about it, right? What am I? What are my actions, the implications of my life doing for her? What type of Earth am I going to leave behind? Am I the type of person who is just fucking things up even more, right? Unconsciously leaving just for pleasure, just for the fuck of it. And while I'm doing that, I'm actually damaging Earth and other people in it. And then when I die, I'm like, well, sorry, daughter, fuck it. I just didn't give a damn. I was just too focused on having a good time. Well, hell no. I'm more aware of everything that I do, that I say, that I don't say, or that I don't do has a repercussion, not just on me, not just on her, not just on my family, but everywhere in the world. So that's why raising the question, doubting the things, and then saying, okay, what am I going to do? What am I willing to do? Or are you just the type of person that just rolls out, just goes past unnoticed, and you don't want to say anything because the pressure, oh my god, the social pressure is too much. I don't want to be looked down by my family, because my family sometimes they don't even talk to me anymore because they think that I've gone batshit crazy. They've always known that I'm a little bit crazy, and I wouldn't even say crazy, man. The crazy people are the other ones, right? Most of society. But a lot of these things, friends or people that I used to consider friends, they stop talking to you and things like that. So what are you going to do? What are you doing, man? Are you just afraid of the pushback? Afraid of what might happen? I mean, I get it. You still have to have a job, this and that, but what type of world are you going to leave behind? What are you going to leave behind? If somebody asks you, I mean, whether you have a children or not, if the younger generations ask you then later on, what did you do when all these things were happening? And you just say, well, I was just busy trying to pay my bills. Hmm, that that's not good enough. That doesn't cut it anymore. I mean, maybe a couple of decades before, yeah, you could get away with that. But now we're more aware that everything that we do has an implication. It spreads out like the ripple effect, and it affects not only you, but it affects the entire cosmos. So now more than ever, we have to be conscious about everything that we do and we don't do, because sometimes our silence communicates more. If you choose to do nothing, if you choose to stay silenced or do absolutely nothing about it, when things that in your heart, there's something wrong, your intuition tells you something wrong, but you choose to follow the mainstream, choose to do nothing about it, and you're as guilty as the people pushing evil things, right? Because you got to do something to awaken the collective, to do your part, not just on this subject, but on all subjects, to put the seeds for a better world. This sounds a little bit like an utopia, but it can be done. It should be done, and we don't even know if it can or if it cannot be done unless we actually try it. So if we're not pushing for a better world, for a better society, to better ourselves individually, to then better those around us. If we don't even do that, we don't even have a fighting chance. We've already lost without even starting the fight, or the process of evolution. So that has been happening. And again, I urge you to wrap it up, to doubt the things that I say, the things that are being pushed onto you, and to just be more curious, a little bit more curious. To give you an example, and I'll wrap it up with this: scientists and doctors finally now, I'm talking about like less than 4 years now, finally they are agreeing and saying that, you know what, a big part of being healthy is the food that you take. The probiotics are very, very important. It's like the microbiome that exists in your gut. Earlier, before, and not so long ago, like less than a decade before, doctors and scientists used to believe that all bacteria is evil, right? That's why they had how do you call it? What's the word? Anti Antibiotics, right? Yeah, I think that's how they call antibiotics. The basic, the normal medicine that doctor gave it to you because they wanted to destroy the bacteria, and that's basically what an antibiotic does. It kills all bacteria, all of it. And they didn't understand that there are more germs and bacteria in our bodies than actual cells, human cells. So we are made out of a mixture of so many different microbes and bacteria in our cells, in our skin, in our gut, everywhere around, that a fundamental question of who we are arises. Like, oh shit, I thought I was a unique human being. But then we understand that this microbiome, which is basically a system of microbes and bacteria connected to one another, all uh, working for each other, right? In synchronicity, they all need one another. What one microbe or one bacteria does in your body, then the other one uses it. Blah 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 blah. I mean, of course, I'm not saying it very. I'm not being very scienty about it. I'm not a fucking scientist, but I'm giving you the way that I understand it. There are more microbes and bacteria in us that basically form out the genetic system in the entire cosmos. So within these microbes, within these bacteria, you can find genetic information that is across the entire world, all over the motherfucking cosmos. So, damn, we are made out of everything, and we are made out of bacteria. And that bacteria, if you understand the genetic code of it, then you can find just about anything inside of you: diseases, good things, bad, like literally everything. Which is why all these PCR bullshit tests, they amplify a piece of your genetic information, and they find everything that they want to find. They can find AIDS within you if they want to, because of this system, this virus, or this how do you call it, this bacteria that lives within us, all around us. And they are all around us, and that's how we coexist for years and years and years. That's how we exist. So they thought that all bacteria was bad, and now finally they are beginning to understand and to actually say, well, actually, not all bacteria is bad. There's a part of bacteria that lives within us that is actually good bacteria. To oversimplify, there's no such thing as good or bad bacteria. That actually doesn't exist. But to oversimplify it, we have something that could be understood as a good bacteria. And how do we develop that good bacteria? Well, by being in nature, by eating healthy food that gives us that bacteria, and then that feeds that bacteria, and that allows us to stay healthy. A big chunk, not all of it, but a big part of our immune system comes from the gut, and from a healthy microbiome, from a healthy, um, balanced bacteria inside of us. Who would have thought that? Who would have motherfucking thought that? Where science used to say, no, all bacteria is evil. And now they're saying, so, that's why I'm saying, even if it's a doctor that has spent a lot of time studying, even if it's a fucking scientist, physicist, I don't care, microbiologist, who the fuck, I don't care who the fuck is saying it, they're not better than you. Never feel lower, like you are lesser than anybody. I don't care who's saying it. Whether they have more experience, less experience, I don't care, man. The fact is that you should trust your own intuition, and you should always test everything. You should always raise the question, because it's through those questions, questioning the so called scientists, that we make them better. Yes, you have an affinity towards these subjects. You understand them better than I do. There's no denying it. But if I do not question you, it becomes an authority. It becomes a totalitarian information. It's what I say because I am the figure of authority. I am the expert, and you ain't shit. I've spent years doing it. You ain't doing shit. So just shut the fuck up, and I hold the truth. Well, it might be true. It might be not true. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just raising the question because if we follow the facts, just like I said, less than a decade ago, the so-called scientists and experts used to say bacteria is bad. And now they're saying, well, bacteria is not so bad. There's a good bacteria. You should actually promote certain intake of bacteria and to grow more of the inner bacteria. It's not so bad. So who do you trust then? Well, it's the question. It's the question. It is the question. That questions are like door or like keys that open different doors. Some doors are good, some doors are bad, or some doors lead us to evolution, some doors leads us to bullshit. But that, if we don't question us, and if we don't raise the question, we ain't gonna do shit. We ain't gonna do shit, basically, right? We're just gonna stay put, and whatever stays put gets rotten. That's when we need to move with our minds, with our hearts, with our souls. We must do that, all right, my friend. So let's wrap it up. This has been a long episode, but I'm happy to be doing it again. Welcome back, everyone, to the Fashion Matrix podcast. And remember that if you're more interested in the work that I do, in the spirituality work that I do, or into the image consulting business that I do, the identity consciousness that I work, if you want to read my books, all that, go to pablomentor.com, and you can find out my program. You can find out my products, my online courses, my master classes, both on English and Spanish, my books. I've written 8 books. And follow me on social media at Pablo Mentor if you can fucking find me. But I'll continue to share these things, just to raise the question, my friends. That's the whole point, all right? Thank you for listening. Be the best version of yourself. And until the next episode, this has been the Fashionatrix Podcast Season 2. We're back, motherfuckers. Catch y'all later.